ask him at the end of a tournament, what are you thinking about? He said, I'm thinking about the next shot, not the next tournament. You know what I'm saying? Is it that simplified for you? And if so, when did that start?
I think it's the mentality you want to have. You want to be in the moment. You know, you can't control what has happened. You can't change what has happened, and you can't control what will happen. Only way you can leave your imprint on it is how you execute in that moment. And so you just want to be in the present and take advantage of the opportunity, trust your instincts, and trust your preparation when you're in that moment. Look back at it and learn from it, and then, you know, move forward. So it's always been a part of, you know, my processing and thinking.
Even when you were a kid?
Feels like so long ago, so much ball has been played in between time, but it's always been rooted in there. Always been rooted in there.
The visit to Chop last week, what went into that? What perspective did you gain from that visit?
I mean, just tons of gratitude from those kids struggling, but yeah, staying so strong throughout it. No complaints by any of them. The joy on their faces. Being able to spend some time with them, create a cleat, and share a moment with them. You know, and it was a couple that I met before, and so it was cool seeing them hanging in there and staying strong, and have them at the game this week. So it'll be fun to see them again.
They'll be here this week as your guest, or as
yeah.
And you said you've met them before. How, I don't want to say frequently do you go, but I guess what's your cadence in the past for visiting there?
You know, it's like to stop in, especially through that time of year, and just show them that we care. You know.
How would you describe your relationship with Jordan Mailata? He's from our perspective, he's a very exuberant guy, a very demonstrative guy. But what is your relationship like with him? Because you guys have kind of progressed together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's always been a passionate guy, and I think for him, being around Jason, being around Lane, and just being around that whole unit, he's been able to grow and mature and learn from them. You know, we've always had a good tie. He's always been there, you know, first one to pick you up, and not just myself, but all of my teammates. And so he takes pride in what he does, you know, and he takes pride in being the blind side.
Panthers defense, what do you see there? It seems like they've played better the last month or so.
Their entire team is playing well. You know, they're a really good football team. You know, they're a really good football team, playing fast, flying to the ball. Their DBs are really good, you know, in the front seven. They create some disruption there, so, you know, you got to come out ready to play.
You know, has there been anything different about practice this year? I think I was just talking to Jack Driscoll, and he said, you know, pads feels like have gone on more on Wednesdays this year. And if so, what kind of advantage does that give you guys, you feel like?
Well, you like to think it gives you an advantage physically, just from a standpoint of having more reps and pads.
And do you feel like things have been a little bit different? I guess after the game on Monday, Nick talked about Monday working and all that, and you've never been a guy adverse to work. Do you feel like there's more of that?
Yeah, I think it's relative. You know, O-line getting the work that they need. You know, defensive line being able to get some of the, you know, pass rush and work their technique, and then being able to fit certain tackles in your pads. So I know that's big for them.
You spoke last month about patience with young quarterbacks, the development timeline, if you will. Is there more of a connection you have with Bryce Young, given the Alabama connection?
You know, I've spent some time with his family, and I met everyone but him, and so this would be my first time, you know, meeting him in person, and, you know, wish him nothing but the best. I know he's a great competitor, had a great career at Alabama, and he's got a great opportunity in front of him now. He's playing really well now.
This is a team that doesn't seem to, if you're playing a team with a bad record, a good record, none of that stuff seems to bother this team. Where does that come from? Just not looking at the record, but looking at the opportunity.
I think it's alluded to, you know, the previous question of just being in the moment, you know, treating every play like its own play. And, you know, you're going to have some moments that you want back, but can't control it. All you can do is learn from it. And we want to attack this game like it's our last.
I know Devontae's been sidelined, but just seeing him continuing to practice, and he was out there before the game as well, going through a workout too. What have you seen from him behind the scenes as he tries to work back from this injury?
Yeah, he knows. He knows his body. I know he's not a guy that misses, and I know it's pained him to have to sit out and watch. I know he's eager to, have everybody back together and go out there and play some ball.
What would it mean to you to get everybody back together in the near future?
Yeah, we really haven't played that way this year, but we've been able to find a way. So there's a lot of trust in everybody here.
If you think back to training camp, you were going against a new defensive scheme with a number of new faces. At the end of the summer, what did you think of that group in particular? Of the Eagles' defense.
I thought we had a really good group. I thought we had a really good group on our side, too.
You've only had Dallas, AJ, and Devontae for 4 games this year, and they've been kind of scattered throughout the season. What does that tell? And you're still averaging almost 30 points a game. What does that tell you as far as the possibilities of this offense when you have everyone back and healthy?
It just shows us that we can win and find ways to win. A lot of trust in a lot of guys, and a lot of guys are capable. And sometimes you make adjustments to certain areas and scheme certain things. But at the end of the day, it's about finding a way to win.
Do you feel like you can have your best season even if the passing numbers aren't the flashy that you see from some guys? Do you feel like you can still have your best season without those numbers?
I think that's something that's relative, to beauty's in the eye of the beholder. We're gonna be judged about when we win in the end. So,
in your first year here, you said Green Bay was the first time you saw snow. I think that Chicago game 2022, you said was the coldest you had ever felt.
yeah.
At this point in your career, are you more used to what's going to happen during these next 5 weeks where every game's in the Northeast?
I feel like I've been used to it. Just because I say it's cold, I mean it's bothersome. And so there are a lot of things that you can do to kind of overcome, some of the, things in the atmosphere, but it's fine.
Last one? No? Cool. Thanks,